All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakak Wadash. And again, we warned you that the famine of the word is coming quickly.
Seriously, I know why they're doing this now. It's the summer. It's the end of July. If you're in America, it's like peak vacation season. People aren't paying attention. But I'm asking you, if you don't watch any of my other videos today, I guess I wouldn't know if you didn't watch this one. But this one needs your interaction, needs you to leave a like on it, needs you to share it on your social media. This is important. YouTube has now been thrown into, and I assume every other video platform, has been now thrown into the list of applications that will be banned for anyone under the age of 16. Now you might think, well, who cares? You know, I think social media is bad for young people, and I agree with you. I think, however, this needs to be mitigated, litigated, enacted in the household by the parents, not the government. And what's happening is in 3 different nations right now, Australia, kind of the tip of the spear. What's happening in Australia right now, you can expect to be in Europe in a month or 2, and then in the United States in 6 months. There are varying forms of each bill in each nation that I need to go through because this is how the government is going to enact digital ID and ultimately social credit score. If you don't think that's how it is, please give me 12 minutes of your time to explain. First, YouTube has now been included in Australia's teen social media ban. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't live in Australia. Why do I care? Well, because it's the exact same legislation that's going on in the UK and Europe with the Online Safety Act, and in the United States with the Kids Online Safety Act, known as COSA. All of this stuff is going on at the same time right now, globally. And when you start enacting, you're having big tech, have people's identifications to prove your ID, prove your age. We just saw that one app that got exposed with, 70,000 driver's license or whatever like that getting put out there. This is huge. Remember, COSA's right here in America. Same thing. Reject online censorship. Tell lawmakers to oppose COSA. COSA won't make the kids safe. Instead, it puts your youth in danger by preventing them from accessing resources they need. Concern about young people's harm from big tech are valid and real, but enabling censorship that harms the most marginalized kids. Again, the left and right are working together on this, but the issue is the same. The COSA bill in the United States will allow the government to pressure social media platforms to erase content that could be deemed inappropriate for people under the age of 18. The problem is there's absolutely no consensus on what exactly is inappropriate for them. All across the country, we're seeing how lawmakers are going after young people's access to gender-affirming healthcare. No, I don't support any of that. Kids should not be going for that. But again, this is the left saying, but this is for LGBT. But on the right, you have to understand COSA as well. Look at Spotify right now. We need to check your age. To access certain contents on Spotify, we need to make sure you're 18 or older. One of the best accounts to follow is Reclaim the Net because they're always on the first and foremost on that. 1 hour ago, France is criminally investigating X. Prosecutors want access to the platform's algorithm and real-time data, citing complaints about Musk's ownership and alleged bias for content mediation. Just yesterday, I talked about Jim Jordan, U.S. politician, talking about how the UK was trying to intimidate Rumble and say that they'll be watching them, that they want to comply with the Online Safety Act. This is bonkers. New internal emails reveal that Ofcom, Britain's media regulator, has been quietly pressuring US-based firms like Rumble and Reddit to obey the UK censorship law. I did a video on this yesterday. Nobody watched it. It bombed. It got like 30,000 views. No one cares. I'm imploring people to start caring. Here's what's going on in Australia. YouTube banned Looms as Australia's woke chief censor gets her way. YouTube faces strict new age restrictions after being swept into Australia's looming social media crackdown by the e-safety commissioner. What does this mean? Well, now it means that the government will be working hand in hand with social media, not just YouTube, but X and Rumble and everything else, to tell people what they're allowed to see. Now, on top of that,
See, that's the point. Okay, that's the famine. All right, and again, who's all behind it? You know, I did this lesson 8 days ago. All right, all social media targeted, famine of the word, and the stage is set for extreme persecution. Right. So again, my point is who's behind it all. Right. Let's play that again.
You're going to want to hear this.
We opened a center in Silicon Valley back in 2017. And the woman who runs it, she's an ex-Facebook executive. I have software engineers and data scientists working at ADL. We're monitoring all this stuff. And we're working with all the platforms, by the way. Google and YouTube and Meta and Twitter and Reddit and Steam and Amazon, all these companies. From like Apple to Zoom, we work with all of them, okay? That's relevant because we've been working with Twitter now since it was founded. We worked with the old regime, working with the new regime. Like I'm talking to Elon, and we're trying to work with them.
He's literally bragging out loud about how they have daily meetings with all the social media companies. Sorry, not even just social media platforms. He said Zoom, private conversations in order to censor speech they do not like. And let's just be 100% straight up. The ADL is not a civil rights group. It is an intelligence organization operating within the United States on behalf of another country.
All right, so like we know, all right, the small hats, the 1948ers are the ones that's putting the pressure upon these social media platforms and the government to regulate what's going on on the internet. Bottom line, right? Amos 8 and 11, behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shemel Washad, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Washad. All right, you got these age verifications, all right? They want you to show your ID, upload your ID, you know, scan your face, you know, put your home address and phone number in. Man, ain't nobody gonna be doing that, man. Okay? So again, this famine is about to come quick as we see it. Okay? We've been warning you about this. All right? That YouTube land was not going to be forever. All right? They're going to start wiping these videos off like they did before during the C-19. But it's going to be on a whole nother level. And they should wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They should run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Washah, and shall not find it. See? In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst, man. People are gonna be hurt out here when these videos go away, when the prophets of Yahweh Shemel Washah are no longer on the scene, man. Okay? Let's finish this out.
how will they actually enforce this? Well, if you want to have access to the internet, you're going to have to give them your ID, your personal information. Now, big tech will be the gatekeeper of everything online, and we know just how honest and trustworthy big tech is. A dramatic policy reversal will now see YouTube included in Australia's upcoming ban on under 16s holding social media accounts, setting the stage for a potential high court showdown with the Google-owned platform. Again, you hear Australia, you think, who cares? Haha, kangaroos and drop bears. But the reality is, this is the legislation that's setting the rules for what's happening right now in the UK and the United States.
Who frame his mischief by a law. Okay? This is how they're able to, make things move through their legislations and decrees. Right? Scripture say that his tongue walketh throughout the earth. I was thinking about that real quick. Psalm 73. Okay. Psalm 73 in verse 8, it says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. All right, because these devils are proud. As you heard that guy, Greenblatt, all right, for the video I played in my lesson I did a few days ago. All right, he was speaking proudly about how they're working with all the social media platforms, the government, and all of that. All right, to pretty much control the narrative that's going out on the internet, man. You know, Psalm 73:9, they set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walketh through the earth, right? And part of that is how they, enforce these laws and decrees. You know?
Communications Minister loser Anika Wells will officially unveil the decision today after receiving advice last month from the e-safety commissioner, shouldn't even be a role, recommending that YouTube be subject to the same restrictions as platforms like TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram. Under the new rules, which come into effect this December, YouTube and other major platforms will be legally required to take reasonable steps to prevent persons under 16 from creating or holding an account. Logged out viewing will still be allowed, but users under 16 will be barred from uploading videos, posting comments, or receiving personalized content. Wells claims that the decision would help reduce the persuasive and pervasive influence that social media has over kids and provide peace of mind to parents. No, 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 no. What this is the government wants to raise your kids. It's bad enough when you have leftoids trying to trans your kids, but this is the government wants to raise your kids.
The Albanese government has announced it will include YouTube in its social media ban for under 16s. While the decision will be welcomed by many, it's a move that won't sit well with Google, which threatened to sue the government if its popular video platform was included in the ban. Despite a last-ditch attempt by Google to avoid it, the Prime Minister has confirmed YouTube will be subject to Australia's world-first under-16s social media ban.
Do you think, leave a like on the video right now, please, if you haven't yet, and please put this video on your Facebook, on your X account, share it. People need to wake up. They're doing this in the dead of summer while nobody's paying attention. I don't know what else I can do. Like, I'm literally going to do paid advertising of this video. But people need to understand what's happening. They're going to not only ban these things because the government wants to raise your kids, but the only way they're going to know if you're old enough is if you give them your ID, right? So now everybody's ID is going to be stored in a central location. How convenient for the government. Now you might be saying, hey, I don't want to use the internet. Well, I guess you're probably not watching this video then. The government will store everybody's ID because they're going to need a central database, right? Then what happens? Well, that's the first step to digital ID. And you may not be a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist like me, but if you look at nations like China, where they have a literal social credit score, what's that tied to? Your digital ID. Like places like China literally limit the hours you can play video games. They limit, if you've said something bad about the government, they'll limit your travel, right? Does that sound like the world you want to live in America or the UK or in Australia?
Yeah, that's what's coming, right? Everything you post on YouTube, social media, all right, when they have that digital ID set up, all right, they'll be able to, rank your social credit score. They can ban you from traveling, from fucking buying groceries or whatever, man. This is all part of the beast. Okay? So the point here is that the time is being cut short, man. All right? This is John 9:4. It says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day, the night cometh when no man can work. And that night is coming. Let's pull that word up as we always bring this out. The night cometh where no man can work.
Strong's G 3571. Nukes.
And that's spiritual because the nuclear missiles are coming. World War III, the end of Babylon. Right? The night cometh. This word for night, nukes, metaphorically, the time when work ceases. This is what we're saying. Okay? The work eventually is going to cease on the internet, man. Okay? See, these stipulations, the social credit score, uploading your ID or your digital ID or whatever the case is, the verification. Okay, this is going to cause people to not, use the internet, man. This is they're gonna start wiping videos off, man. Anything they deem inappropriate that's not against the the government narrative, that's not with it. All right, they're gonna take it down. Okay, this is the time we're entering into, man. Okay, that persecution, everything. Metaphorically, the time when work ceases, the time of death, the time of deeds of sin and shame, the time of moral stupidity and darkness. It says the time when the weary and also the drunken give themselves up to slumber. Right, so that's the point. Okay, the night cometh when no man can work. The time is being cut short. Right, Romans 9:28. It says, For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness. Because a short work will the Lord Yahweh Shai make upon the earth. Right. So everything is moving fast, man. Okay. And we almost out of here, man. The famine of the word is pretty much upon us. Okay. Nuclear war, Jacob's trouble, the beast system, the chip. Okay. All these things are at the doorstep, man. In the forefront right now. Okay? The Lord's getting ready to make a short work. Okay, upon the earth, man. Things are moving really fast, man. Okay? The salvation is nearer than we believe. Right? 1 Corinthians 7:29. Let's read that. Right? 1 Corinthians 7:29. But I say this, brethren, the time is short. Right? It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they have none. So really what Paul's saying here is a mindset that we have to have as we enter to the end of this thing, man. All right? It says, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not. It says, and they that use the world, and they that use this world not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. Man, everything on this side is getting ready to come to an abrupt halt. Okay? Shit is about to get shut down. Look at the economy, man. Look at the people. Okay? This dollar's about to crash. They're about to get rid of the money, man. All right? They're about to push the chip. Okay? Everything on this side is about to pass away soon, man. Sooner than what we realize. All right, so the Lord is making a short work of everything, man. Okay, the famine of the word is upon us, right? Let's check this one out right here.
Lock your doors and hide under your bed all you want. It won't protect you from a menace on the loose, a maniac at large that not even SpongeBob could catch. Mass surveillance, control, and censorship. It's now at our doorstep here, a place many have called home, YouTube. They've just announced they're rolling out AI in the US to detect if users are actually under 18, ignoring whatever the account's stated age is, and will apply restrictions to users it suspects are teens. And if it suspects that you are not over 18, it will restrict what you have access to, and the only way to overturn that is by providing identification. That sounds awfully familiar. Does that ring any bells to anyone out there, with what's going on over in the UK at the moment? I would certainly hope so. If it doesn't, go give your doctor a huge pat on the ass and tell him that the lobotomy was very successful, because you have lost all fucking brain function. It's now US citizens' turn to have the piss sucked from their balls here, and all privacy completely thrown in the shitter. So, if YouTube's AI tools think that you're under 18, I hope you're ready to fork over your ID in order to continue to access certain YouTube content and features.
There you go. All right, as he's gonna go into. All right, we don't need to watch. I want to see another one I saw on the feed. All right, bear with me 1 second. I want to play that one too. All right, let's check this one. The UK just censored the entire internet. Let's play a little bit of that and we'll wrap it up. But you get the point, man. All right.
Welcome back to Free Speech Friday, my series where I cover the fight for free expression, privacy, and civil rights online. The UK's new age verification law just went into effect, and it's already preventing anyone under the age of 18 from accessing information on Reddit about Israeli war crimes. This is yet another example of why these kids...
See, we told you. Everything stems back to the small hat, man. Okay? They're the ones that's spearheading this whole ordeal.
Online safety age verification laws are really only about one thing: censorship. The law mandates age verification across all platforms that carry adult content. But as I'm going to explain in this video, that means every single platform. Because while these laws are falsely framed as cracking down on porn, what they deem adult content is far more wide-reaching than you might think. This is why young people suddenly have to upload their government ID or face scan themselves to do things like listen to Spotify or watch YouTube. Every social media app, because it contains news content, is considered adult. This means that everyone, not just kids, but everyone, is now legally required in the UK to upload things like their government-issued ID, live selfies, biometric facial recognition, credit card info, and more, just to use major platforms like Reddit, Twitter, Blue Sky, and thousands of independent websites. I have an entirely separate video breaking down the problems with age verification more broadly, which I'm...
There you go. So hey, welcome to the beast. Okay? Everything is going to be logged and you know, put into the database, man. They're going to know exactly who you are. Like they said, they don't want any more how you say the word, anonymity, if I'm saying it right. Okay? They want to know everything about you. Everything is all social media platforms are targeted. All right, so here we are. You know, this is the proof. All right, so again, hey, the Lord is cutting the work short, man. We're in that time, as you were warned. Shalom.